Hey guys, welcome back to Just One More Hobby, the Fly RCGO Workshop Edition. This is kind of a really cool one that I am very honored to be a part of. This is my friend John's 1/3 scale F-86 from Global Jet Club. And just kind of gonna give a review on this airplane as we help put it together. But I am just super excited to see this. The detail on this airplane, I just set the elevator on it, just checking everything. This is a full plug-and-play airplane with the FR Sky servos. Even the speed brakes. Look at this detail work, and I love how these doors are built up so that it gives it a lot of rigidity. Just unbelievably beautiful. Even when you plug in the tail here, sorry, I'll slow down. Servos all installed. Really nice big, not turnbuckles, but really nice big hardware. Even this, sorry for bumping you. Even this, we were laughing at how, well, not laughing, but just so impressed with how big their ball links are on there. This is an FR Sky 6505 on the elevator. Just unreal. Full flying stab. Trying to do this one-handed tonight. So just really nice how they've set everything up so that you can just quick lock it like that. Set that down on there. Just a single screw right there to hold the rudder on. I hope the camera is getting the gist of how pretty this paint is. Again, really nice loomed, just insanely beautiful. Great work, guys. Nice small fillets. You know, I always talk about how I almost modify every airplane. They've even got the zip ties. Let me go back around here. Oh, this is cool. Got a piece of metal right here. Lights on the tail. Look at that. They've even got the zip ties going through there. Just as I've been going through this, going, wow, this should be a very quick, glue tabs, clipped off. Oh, I will say, my biggest complaint, guys. Why do people cut their zip ties on an angle? If you buy a really nice set of flush cuts, you won't cut yourself like reaching up underneath a dash on an old truck or a car. And that's just a crazy pet peeve, but really, that's the only thing I've got so far to say they could work on, and I'm not even going to go there. So really nice loomed. Gear doors are really nice fitment. Again, this nice built up so the doors are nice and stiff. Double wing tube. This is also really cool. I'm going to set the camera down. This is how you release the full sliding hatch. This is a full servo operated sliding hatch. Let's set this down and we'll be right back. Okay, got the canopy hatch off here. Roll this over. Show you it's got a great big linear actuator right there for the hatch. Really nice job. 3 tanks. This is also cool how they're bolted in. Ease of convenience to get underneath there tomorrow to put in the motor. Just great work. Wow. Intake. It's got all of the wires down in there. Again, these quick little nuts. My friend Eric was looking at this and he had a really good idea for these nuts, just so that you can grab them. He's thinking about printing us some little fire extinguishers that would click onto the top. Yeah, they wouldn't be scale, but it would just give your finger something to grab onto. This thing is so big. You can definitely get your hands in there, as you see. I just want to get down in there and show you guys the wiring here. That is just very, very cool. Sorry, John, I broke your airplane. I guess I'll have to buy it from you. This thing is amazing. Look at the great detail work they've done on their cockpit. Just literally buy a pilot, throw it in there, you're done. They've even got foam on the seat, not just painted. Really cool. This nose cone, I'll pull this off. This nose cone slides out so that if you want to attach your weights in there, super easy to get in there for convenience. It's got the servo operated lights for the retracts. Again, how nice is this to get in there, to get into your batteries? Really hope you guys can see this. It's just so beautiful. Again, nice big trays, easy to get to. All of the wiring is tagged. So it's a lot of connections tomorrow. But then they've already got the JP controller installed for the brakes, the lights. They've even got little 630 females for your battery connections already built down in there. Again, right, aileron, everything is just labeled. I think that is so cool. What a great touch. Light controllers already installed and still tagged, you know, belly light. It's really great that they're tagging it even though they're installing it. Well, it was nice for them to install everything so that they can keep track of it, but it's just awesome for convenience for when we're maintaining them. Again, nice, great connections, nice felt around the corners. Really nice plugins here. Really cool. Show you guys the tail tube here. The tail tube is absolutely massive. As you see, let me kind of stand back there. It is awesome. John's going to be running a Schwewin 300 in this airplane. Few people I've seen building these. They've been coming in at like, they've been coming in about 66 pounds. Ready to fly is what I've been seeing. Great looking big wing tanks. Just the paint is amazing. Man, guys. It's fun. I still love being a builder. Man, this one's gonna be so impressive. Great job, Global Jet Club. Mike Lynn, just amazing. To the factory. Wow. It's awesome. You guys taking some serious pride in your work. It is very, very impressive. Okay, so over here to the wings. Again, JP brakes. Love the little added details, the scale details. Plug-ins, I like how these are not locked in so that you can align them and get them to plug in. These are just little bolts. I did buy some cool little McMaster wing nuts for him for this, so that we can get in there. It does have has 2 servos right here for the leading edge slats. It's got FR Sky servos installed. Again, big 3mm hardware. Great job on just, what a great job. This one is impeccable. So, like I said, we're going to try to get it all done very rapidly. Get her out in test flyer. Just trying to show you guys that detail. Just what a gorgeous plane. Feel very honored to be helping on this project. Yeah. Okay guys, working on putting in the thrust tube on the L39. Say good morning, John.
Good morning.
So this is really, really tight. And what I do is I set some playing cards in there so that you're not shaving that. You don't want something too thick. You know, even a long piece of poster board would be nice, but we just kind of shove those cards in there. So go ahead and push, John. Right there. Go ahead and push in right there. So then your playing cards are there. And that way, sorry, that way this stays super tight. Don't be grinding that. That is very precise fit. That's going to be a nice tight fit. Then coming along here. So this is going to set right there. I do want to show you guys something. On the thrust tube, they had little marks to where that aligned. My question was which left or right on these brackets. They actually did give a nice little mark right there. So, and again, you're not going to want to screw this in until we set the turbine in there in case we need to adjust it up or down or maybe a little bit more forward. You got a little bit of room to come in, but not much. It should probably fit right at that back bracket. So hopefully that little tip helps you guys. Okay guys, working on installing the turbine. You need to do 2 small notches if you're doing like a 320 here. Just make sure you're not overcutting, right? So that you're not overcutting in there. Now we can get that aligned and bolt it in. Okay, where we're at today is we are going to have to raise the upper tank. I'll show you that in just 2 seconds here. Working on where to mount the UAT and pump. So what we've done is taken some 1/2-inch basswood, high soled it on here. Grab those and I'll set those in there and show you what it's going to look like. Okay, you can see there, little pump tray is going to have some screws sitting down in there to hold it. That's also where John's on-off is going to be for the airplane. The UAT is going to sit right here. We'll be able to come back around, jump right into the tanks. Then right here you can see, because we're running the big King Tech 320, we do just need to raise this up. You can raise this up by about 1/2 inch if you need, because the way that the hatch works. I'll show you that. So we have plenty of room back in there to get that to work. We're also working on where we're going to put a jack so that it makes it convenient to plug in the sliding canopy. Probably just going to set a jack somewhere in here, try to keep it away from the turbine, of course. So, but there is the update. So these are those 3mm screws with the metal top on them. They came from McMaster Car. Then what we're doing is we're adding a neoprene washer on there. You always want to make sure to have a neoprene washer on your wing screws in an aerobatic airplane. And I just follow that principle even in jets. You don't want them to vibrate out. So hopefully that'll help you. Hey guys, as we're doing our bolt inspection, again, it's a beautiful ARF, but you need to check every bolt. These bolts holding the elevator on, a couple of them are just crazy loose. There's a nut up inside. It is a 5.5mm on the nut and a 2.5 driver. So just making sure to Loctite everything as we're putting it together. All right, guys. So what we've done here to this fuel tank is I did coat this in foil tape just to protect it against a little bit of heat, and then we did raise these a 1/2 inch. Try to show you this here. So now we're just going to extend those screws. Try to show you guys the gap now. That's about what we're looking for. But that tailpipe is, you know, underneath that fuel tank. So that's the reason I coated that. Now as I run my lines from tank to tank, I'm going to try to just stay away from touching that at all. I'm probably going to use a little loom right there and another one up there. Well, all this is plywood with some gray monocoat just to give it that clean look. Again, T-nuts instead of just screws going down through his pump, so it's not going to jiggle. Same with on the UAT. And then some little bit of heat shield, a little bit of space in there now with that rising up because of that 320. So looking good. Super happy with it. I call these glue tabs. Everybody has different names for them, but just zip tie deals. And all I do is use a little bit of CA to secure them to the fiberglass tank and then zip tie them up. Again, do not tighten your zip ties too much because you can squeeze that and cause issues. So be careful when you're doing that. But getting really close to CG. And hey guys, as we're working on the fuel system here, I wanted to bring you guys a quick little tip that was taught to me years ago by my buddy Steve. He's an aircraft mechanic up on Hill. And this is back in the old RC car days and silicone tubing. And he says you can't cut your tubing with a pair of dikes. You can fracture the tube. And one of the crazy practices that I've done for years is done a double slip on my silicone and on my Tygon. And all it is you use a pair of dikes, you cut off a 1/4 inch long piece, and you put a piece on there. And the nice part is when you put it on, it acts like a nice clamp instead of a zip tie, because a zip tie actually comes to a nice little point. So you'll actually get an air leak through there. So that's the reason we've done this for years, RC boats, all of it. So I do know that if you do cut it with a pair of dikes, it does like to fracture a little bit easier when you're trying to stretch it out. So he always talked to us about using a nice sharp razor blade or a number 11 to cut it. And this clear tubing that we use in the jets really seems to show the fracturing issue when we're having to stretch this out a little bit as we're sliding it onto the fittings because it's so nice and stiff. So if you guys are having your lines fracture or crack, or you get an air leak through there, maybe it's because you guys have been cutting with a pair of dikes. I don't know. But the coolest thing that I came across years ago was from a company called Coil Hose. They make air lines and things like that for the industrial use stuff. And they have this cool little guillotine cutter. It is a part number F-86F-058 from Coil Hose. Nice adjustable, replaceable blade. This one's getting kind of dull, but as you're down inside of an airplane, it sure does make it nice and easy to clip and cut. And again, it's really hard to get down in there and use a razor blade to cut it. So hopefully this little tip will help you guys. Hopefully you guys will find use in these little tips that we're trying to give you. Please like and subscribe, comment, your guys' practice, how you guys have been cutting your fuel lines, and if you've seen this same problem. So, but I appreciate you guys joining in here on this F-86 build, and thank you, John, for letting me be a part of this, and just having a blast working on it. So, thanks again. Here at the final CG. Before we fuel it and check that change, I want to show you the numbers that we've come up with. So distance from main is 1173. The CG is 85 millimeters. Now that is the furthest forward we have, and 75 millimeters is the farthest aft that they were recommending. So the distance from mains for where our lead is right here, which is 1173 also. So let's bring you in here. I am 0.10 nose heavy, and I'm going to show you why we're doing this. Let me put the tip tanks on and I'll show you where that sits. Okay, as you can see, we've added the tip tanks. Now it just went to tail heavy 0.20. Okay, so if I come in here and I edit this to worst case scenario 75, enter, save. Now we are nose heavy by half a pound. So I'm really happy in that number. I bet you it'll be in the 80 mark. So let's put this back to 85. So with the tip tanks on, you really, I think that number, and that's what I've come up with. I'm trying to split the difference here. Let's show you guys the weight of the aircraft, the way that it sits right now. So the weight of the aircraft is 67 pounds, 0.69 with the tip tanks on. So let's go ahead and fuel it up and see how much this changes the CG. We'll be right back. Okay, as you see, we definitely got it all full. Might need to enlarge the vent line or the little vent exit. Something right at the last there was struggling. Just not venting as cleanly as I would like to see. But let's see what the CG says now, full of fuel. Okay, so before fuel, we were 0.21 tail heavy. We are now 0.13 nose heavy. So with that said, let's pull the tip tanks off just to see where we're flying there. We're flying with the tip tanks. That means we're flying on the nose heavy side at 85 millimeters. So without tip tanks, we are 0.49 nose heavy. So she's definitely adding quite a bit of nose heavy with fuel, which means it's going to burn off. I'm very happy with that. It changes a lot, but It's not going to be so critical. I mean, it's not going to be so bad that you can't fly through it. So you're just going to want to stay up and fly through a little bit of your fuel before you come in for your first landing. So awesome. Okay, for CG numbers here, I mean for AMA, LMA paperwork here, no tip tanks, full of fuel, you're 76 pounds, 0.47. So that is 76.5 pounds for LMA. Okay, with tip tanks and full of fuel, we are 79 pounds, 2.7 ounces. So I would LMA paperwork that at 79.5 pounds. That's batteries, all CG'd. These two last little stickies need to get placed in the nose. But she's an 80-pound bird. To talk about LMA real quick, I don't know if you guys know, but I am an AMA, LMA inspector also. And the difference in between an LMA1 and an LMA2, they both carry now 3 years. Once you do your paperwork, they're good for 3 years. It used to be for the LMA2, it was a 1 year you held your LMA work for 1 year, and the LMA1 was for 3 years or 2 years. It's changed over the last couple of years, but it really doesn't matter. The only thing that comes into play with the brand new 2025 paperwork is anything is an LMA T2, you need to have a minimum of 100 flights on an airplane weighing, a jet weighing over 25 pounds. And if it's an LMA T1, you need to have a minimum of 50 flights on an aircraft over 25 pounds. Also, the LMA2 means that this airplane will be restricted to a speed of 175 miles an hour, which really is not that big a deal. 175 miles an hour, guys, that is still cooking. So, yep, and an LMA T1 is restricted at 199 miles an hour, just like all the other jets. So, no big deal. We will definitely certify this airplane as an LMA T2. But now we're extremely close to the maiden flight. Okay, guys, we are done. Just about ready to leave the shop. Want to give a couple of thanks and a couple of answer some questions that I think might get arised. So I just want to give a great big thanks to John for letting me be a part of this build. I want to give a great big thanks to Caden, his son, coming up and putting in some hours with us, putting this girl together. It's been a real lot of fun working together in the shop. Just a lot of fun, laughs, jokes, you know, just having a great time building an airplane together. Really makes the hobby what the hobby is about. So also great big thanks to Mike Lynn at Global Jet Club for everything you've done on this build, and I want to give a great big thanks to you too. So CG is probably one question that might get asked. So I just want to refer to this here. The numbers that were kind of given when I calculated everything from what they give, you know, the old way, to the XGOI scales, it came out to 75 millimeters for our aft, 85, 95, okay? So I did everything off of 85. So when I fueled the airplane up and it became 0.49 nose heavy, so a half a pound nose heavy, I'm still not even in front of that 95. So this is really not a big deal. It's going to fly great. You're not going to really notice, I believe, that big a change throughout the flight. But just to clarify that, that's where those numbers have all come from. Again, what a beautiful airplane. And loose bolts. Okay, this is naturally going to happen because they come from a humid environment to a dry climate. So Something that you should be checking, especially if you live in a humid climate like Florida and move to Arizona or something, keep an eye on those bolts. It's something that you do not want to tighten too much and crack your Loctite loose or pull it all the way out and replace your Loctite. Just keep an eye on those little details. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed what we're trying to produce here of content for you guys. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the in-depth details. If you have, please give us a like, subscribe, comment, things like that. Where we're going to end up going this next year, I don't know. I got the muscle bike to build. I really want to get back to a full scratch build that I love to do. But this has been a ton of fun. Again, thank you, John. Thank you, Caden. Thanks, Mike Lynn. Thanks to my wife for putting in some hours with me. It has just been a ton of fun. So it is what makes the hobby for me. It's why I love to build. It's why I like to teach. It's why I like to show you guys what we're doing. So thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful day.